When you log into Sakai, you will see your My Workspace site. This is where you can view and customize information that affects only you. Every student has a My Workspace page, even if you don't have any classes in Sakai. The navigation pane on the left includes several tools that may be useful to you. We will go through each one briefly. On the home page, you will see the message of the day, which is used for important reminders, notification of campus events, as well as scheduled maintenance and outages. To the right, you'll see the calendar. This calendar shows events from all of your classes. Not all classes use the Sakai calendar, so no events here does not necessarily mean that nothing is due. Light blue boxes show activities or less urgent events. Red boxes indicate due dates. If there's more than one event on a day, the number appears in parentheses in the corner. Click on any day to view the events. Below that, you will see recent announcements and the Message Center notifications. Recent announcements lets you view class announcements for the past 10 days from all of your online classes. You can click on the announcement subject to view the message from your instructor. The Message Center shows you a list of your class sites and the number of new messages and forum posts. This lets you see quickly if there's any communication that may need your attention. Under Profile, you can add information that will be visible to your instructors and other students in your classes. It includes the option to add a profile picture, personal information, additional contact information, or even link your Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter profile. For the most part, you don't have to worry about filling out any of this information. The membership page lets you see the Sakai sites that you're a member of. You'll see that some sites have an option to check the box and then click Unjoin. This will remove you from the Sakai site. You should never use this option to drop a class. You would still be on the class roster, which means you would still be financially responsible for the class and get a grade. If you need to withdraw from a class, you must do so through MyNSCC. If you click on Joinable Sites, you'll see a list of sites that are available for you to join. These are normally informational or group sites, not classes. The Schedule tool gives you access to the same calendar you saw on the home page, but with a few extra options. The default view here is by week, but watch out for that, as events that are due early in the morning or late at night don't appear in the default view, which is just 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you click on Later, you'll see that you could have things due at midnight that weren't appearing initially. You can change the view from week to a day, month, year, or a list of events. If you choose List of Events, you can specify a start and an end date. You can also add events to the calendar here. Any events added to this calendar are visible only to you. You can use this to add additional due dates, class meetings, study times, tutoring appointments, or personal events. When you add an event, you must enter a title, date, and start time. You can then set the duration or end time and enter a message or description of the event. You can also change the frequency. By default, the event is added to the calendar just once. but you can choose to have it repeat daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. Event type adds an icon next to the event in the calendar. You must save the event to add it to the calendar. You can always go back and edit an event that you created. You cannot edit events that came from your classes. Only the instructor can modify those. The Resources tool is an area where you can upload and store files. By default, these files are visible only to you. The most common use for resources is to upload images to be used in discussion posts or blogs. To add a file to resources, click on the Add drop-down menu and select Upload File. Browse for your image and add a display name. Click on Upload Files Now to save this to your resources area. Now, before you can use that file in a class, you have to make it public. Otherwise, no one else will be able to see it, including your instructor. To make a file public, click on the Actions drop-down menu for that file and choose Edit Details. Change the availability from Only Members of this site to Publicly Viewable. Click on Update to save those changes. You'll see now that that file is listed as public rather than entire site. Don't worry, this does not make your image or file available to the whole world. Someone would have to have the exact URL of the file in order to view it. You can also use the resources area to store copies of your papers while you're working on them, if you don't have a flash drive or other way of transferring the files between computers. On the Announcements page, you will see all of the class announcements from all of your Sakai classes. Click on the subject to view the message from your instructor. You can also see these from within each of the individual class sites. The Worksite Setup page simply lists all of the sites and classes that you have access to in Sakai. If you have access to a large number, you can use this to search for specific classes. The Preferences page has many options that you may want to configure as you work in Sakai. The first page you see when you go to Preferences is Customize Tabs. This lets you control what sites appear along the top of the page. You'll see 3 columns: Favorite Sites, Active Sites, and Archived Sites. Favorite sites are the ones that appear up along the top next to your My Workspace link. Active sites appear under the More Sites button at the top. Archived sites do not appear at the top at all. You can only see those by going to Worksite Setup on the left. Archived sites is a good place to store classes from previous semesters that you don't need to access anymore. You can move sites from one column to the other simply by clicking and dragging. You can also check the box for each site and use the arrows to move it from one column to another. You can also control the order of the sites in your favorite sites. Drag an item up or down the list to control where it appears along the top of the page. Click Update Preferences to save your changes. Under Preferences, you also have the Notification area. This lets you control how Sakai emails you. By default, it is set that you will receive all notifications sent by your instructor as a separate email. You can change the low priority notifications to send you just one email per day or not send you emails at all. You will always receive the high priority notifications that your instructor sends. The time zone option at the top will let you select your local time zone. By default, it's set to U.S. Eastern Time. This will affect the times that appear for assignments, tests and quizzes, and events on the class schedule. The language option lets you control the language for Sakai. This lets you select the language for all of Sakai's buttons and options. This will not change the language for any of the course content. The Account page under My Workspace lets you view your Sakai account information. This includes your ID and email address. You cannot change any of the information here. The Evaluations dashboard is used for course evaluations and surveys. If any of your classes have an available evaluation, it will be listed here. You will also receive an email notification. If there is an evaluation listed, simply click on it to start the survey. The results are anonymous. Instructors cannot match students to their responses unless you provide information that identifies you. This finishes our look at your My Workspace site. You can explore more on your own. If you run into any problems, you can contact the Technology Help Desk for assistance.